perfect and whole and holy. Perfection of your being cannot be compared. It cannot be put into a category. It cannot be identified as different or even special because it is in equality, perfect, whole, and holy. You cannot look anywhere at anything and see difference. You cannot look and see the idea of even an animal being something different. The spirit, the life force of God, is what life is. And that life force of God is what everything is that lives. So it calls to you, calls to everyone to stop comparing, stop judging. Comparing and judging are basically the same thing. You use what you think you know and use it for judgment in some way. And every time you have judgment, every time you have comparisons, every time you have the idea of good or bad or right or wrong, you suffer. You absolutely suffer. The weird element of suffering that the ego has done so well is that almost no one recognizes the suffering. They don't know where it's coming from. They most beloveds feel the pain, the discomfort, the anxiety, the angst. You feel it, and you think you know where it's coming from, but it's not true. It's coming from the enemy within, mind, the pattern that has been established, that each beloved established for themselves in their journey of beliefs. But how to come back to the perfection, to the holiness, to the wholeness. Thank God there have been masters since the beginning of incarnation. Thank God there have been masters that could bring truth so that it could be carried with you always. That no matter what the situation is, there is an answer of truth that is waiting for you to accept it. Gratitude. Thank God only love is real. Thank God there are no battles of inferiority and superiority. There are no ideas of one having one thing and another having another thing. There is no one that has more There is no one that has something that you don't have. It doesn't exist. It's made up. It's a pattern that has been used by humanity since the beginning of incarnation, since the beginning of separation. And it is one of the primary elements of healing to learn the truth of gratitude, the truth of gratitude, not the socially acceptable thank you very much gratitude, not the idea, oh, I love your hair gratitude. It's not about a social acceptability. It's not about a social congeniality, if that's the word. It's not about being socially correct. It's about the deepest place that you can go within your heart, within your soul, within your spirit that lives in gratitude because everything is only love. Thank God. None of the other minutia of the world, the games that are played, trying to win, trying to be better, trying to be more, trying to be part of, whatever it is. It's been carried for lifetime after lifetime, and your wholeness, your completeness, your holiness is truly all that there is. But how to let the rest of it go? That is the journey of love. I have cried a lot because of regrets, because of comparisons with everyone. I have cried a lot, wanting better. But now I'm going to leave everything that I have been yearning for, that I have been trying to get. I'm leaving it all into the hands of God, and I'm going to go and live among the flowers with all creation. I'm going to go and live among the flowers with my Blessed Mother in complete equality. And I open the door for all beloveds because I want everyone to find their way back to love. Let's all sing with love. The fears that have appeared have been a great rebellion against the truth of God. The battleground is old, and thank God many have laid down their swords and are no longer willing to hold the fear as the great rebellion. I'm the child of the Blessed Mother, and I recognize that this power is for all, in all equality. I call the force, I call the force to come and open my heart so that I can learn to love. Juro muito e lamento tudo que já se passou. Deixo tudo saudosamente, vou viver no meio das flores. Vou viver no meio das flores, junto com a Virgem Maria, os terrores que apareçam essa grande rebeldia. Sou filho da Virgem Mãe, reconheces de poder. Chama a força, eu chama a força para vir nos defender. I'm going to go and live among the flowers. Symbolically, I'm going to live among the flowers. It doesn't mean that you have to go and find a house that has a flower garden. It doesn't mean that it has anything to do with the physicality that you see. It has to do with seeing everything as flowers. Everything. If you drop a bucket of garbage on the ground, you trip and it crashes, you're walking among the flowers. You may think that you're being caught by garbage. It's all in your mind. You see it as garbage, you make it garbage. If it was flowers that were there and you saw it as garbage, it would look like garbage to you because it's your mind that is deciding. You're going to walk among the flowers with the Blessed Mother. It means that you are giving your life, your everyday, your moment to moment, you're giving it to the Divine Mother because you want to follow in her footsteps. You want to learn the way of generosity, of gratitude, of acceptance. You want to walk among the flowers because that's the only place that the Divine Mother walks. Because everything are the holy flowers of love. What are you seeing? What are you deciding everything is? This is good, this is bad, this I like, this I don't like. Imagine the Divine Mother going, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this, I like this. It would be impossible because the Divine Mother created everything. Everything was created, and what you see with your eyes is not reality. What you see with your eyes comes from your past, the many pasts, but the most fresh one, this one, where you battled, where you competed, where you felt abandoned, where you fought for your little corner of the world, where you compared. There's none of that. And there's none of it in you, in the truth of you. These fears that have appeared have been a great rebellion. Am I afraid I don't have enough? Afraid that somebody else has more than me? That nightmare, the nightmare of the belief of not having enough, it strangles, it grips, it chases, it follows you everywhere, everywhere. As soon as a comparison is made, as soon as there is a resentment, as soon as there's jealousy, as soon as there's pride, it's pain. It's pain. And it has no reality. I'm going to go and live among the flowers. I want to see everyone as the divine. I want to see every situation as perfect because I get to learn from it. Not I want it differently because I have another idea. I want to learn what there is to learn in this moment. Let yourself find that place of wanting to learn the mysteries of the universe so that you can be free, so that you can be at peace and stop the battleground. This hymn that I sang was with me every day, all day long. These fears have been a great rebellion every day, all day long. I'm going to leave everything that I have been lamenting, and I'm going to go and live with my Divine Mother because it's where I belong. It's where everybody belongs. Following the way of love. All my youth returns. This is your love song. This is a love song to the divine. Let your heart get mushy. Let your heart burst. Let yourself fall in love. You are the comfort of my soul in the season of sorrow. You are the wealth of my spirit in the heartbreak of loss. The unimaginable, the unknowable, that is what you give my soul. That is what you give my spirit when it moves in your direction. By your grace, my eyes have looked upon eternity. Oh, my Father, how could this crumbling empire ever take me from you? Why would I want anything else but the truth of love? The voice that sings your name is sweeter than midnight sleep, more graceful than a song of a royal poet. When deep in prayer, my faith is bound by the thought of you, not the 7 verses of faith. You greet sinners with mercy. You melt stone hearts with love. If I were offered a kingdom and the world's riches were placed at my feet, I would bow with my face low and say, this does not compare to your love. Union is the pure wine. My life is the cup. Without your wine, what use is this cup? I once had 1,000 desires, but in my one desire to know you, all else melted away. The pure essence of your being has taken over my heart, my spirit. Now there is no second or third, only the sound of your sweet cry. Through your grace, I have found a treasure within myself that you wanted me to find. I have found the truth of the unseen world. I have come upon the eternal ecstasy. I have gone beyond the ravages of time. I have become one with you. Now my heart sings. I am the spirit of the world. From my first breath, I have longed for you. This longing has become my life. This longing has seen me grow old. But one mention of my Divine Father and all my youth comes back to me. The comfort of the soul. This offering this poem is all gratitude. It's all acknowledgement. But it doesn't have really anything to do with the material world. Oh, Father, how could this crumbling empire ever take me from you? Crumbling empire. The shiny objects, the wanting to be and have more, comparing. These are the places of pain. These are the places of grievances that hold your heart prisoner. And this is all about gratitude. But gratitude is not what the world has made of gratitude. The gratitude of the world says, you get a job, and then somebody says to you when you're in that job, Larry got fired. Larry got fired. Well, thank God it wasn't me. That is not gratitude. That is the battleground. There is no gratitude when someone else has less. There is no gratitude in comparisons. Gratitude is in the realization that what is here now is perfect, always perfect. Where are you with the perfection? Where is your awareness of what is perfect? Perfect is the garbage that fell, that you saw as garbage, but it isn't garbage. It's a learning. It's perfect. Maybe your mind goes back to the past and says, this is beneath me. I made a point of getting better. I made a point of having my world be acceptable. That garbage is not acceptable. God is asking you to see everything as perfect. Perfect. The lights go out. Perfect. It's 30 degrees. It's perfect. What are you learning? What is there to learn? Is there a difference between the lights being on and the lights being off? Only in the mind. If you sit in the dark, what you consider to be the dark without light, and you sit there and you surrender, the light turns on within. It has nothing to do with the light outside. It's finding the light within that is perfect, and everything is perfect from every angle, every angle. I don't usually use course, but all hands on. You do not offer God your gratitude because your beloved is more slave than you. Nor could you sanely be enraged if he seems freer, has more in the material world, knows more. Love makes no comparisons. No comparisons. It doesn't matter if I pick up this glass And I say, "Well, it's not as big as some glasses. I should have a bigger glass. I deserve a bigger glass." Everything becomes an opinion. What do you know about this glass that this is different than another glass? A better glass? A thinner glass? A thicker glass? A darker glass? A lighter glass? And if someone has a nicer glass, then are you in pain because they have a nicer glass? The gratitude is for the equality, that it's perfect. Everything is always perfect because there's no comparison with it. There's no one to think of as having, well, gosh, my Aunt Mary had a whole set of those. I'm making that up. I don't have an Aunt Mary. Aunt Mary had a whole set of those, and I only have one. Really? That's what you think you know? That your Aunt Mary has 8 glasses and you only have one? You just made that up. It means you gave it meaning. 8 must be worth more than one, but it really isn't. It's all the meaning that you've given it. And if you see yourself as deprived, you will see that one glass as definitely not as good as 8. Or you could see it from the other angle, which if you had the 8 and they had the 1, you'd be so happy because you had the 8 and they only had the 1. There's no love there. There's no love there. There's manipulation, there's greed, there's fear. Not enough? It's the pain of the world. And you will never win. You will never have enough. Never have enough. Because the belief that there can be less and more is made up. You have everything already. You are everything. How could you be missing anything? That's the spiritual journey. Wait, I don't want the 8 glasses if it means that I think I have a better existence than someone else. No. That's why there's such a practice of giving everything to God. Is your intelligence yours? Is it God's? If you have a job, is that your job or is it God's? Is it the same as everybody's job? Do you see it the same? Because if you see it to be more or less, you're in the battle. Compare yourself to someone else. It's a battle. Therefore, give thanks, but in sincerity, and let your gratitude make room for all who will escape with you. Escape with you. It has nothing to do with the gratitude for the material level. There's nothing missing and there's nothing to get. All those who will escape with you. The sick, the weak, the needy, the afraid, and those who mourn a seeming loss or feel apparent pain, who suffer cold or hunger, or who walk with ways of hatred in the path of death. All these go with you. Let us not compare ourselves with them, for thus we split them off from our awareness of the unity we share with them, as they must share with us. We thank God for one thing alone, that we are separate from no living thing, and therefore one with Him. And we rejoice that no exceptions ever can be made which would reduce our wholeness, nor impair or change our function to complete the one who He is Himself completion. We give thanks for every living thing, for otherwise we offer thanks for nothing. And we fail to recognize the gifts of God to us. Gratitude is a lifelong study. When you are unhappy, unsatisfied with what you have, what things look like, where you belong in the seeming hierarchy of the world, when you dwell there, when you think of those things, you're inviting a deep pain. You're inviting the world of differences and of having to win and prove your worth. And if you have to prove your worth, or you believe you have to prove your worth through the material level, you will always be dissatisfied because you can't prove your worth through the material level. Is there a difference between someone who dresses smartly and someone who dresses with what they've got? Is there a difference between someone who lives in a one-room apartment or someone who lives in a house? Would you be a different person if you lived in a different place? Would you believe that there was something missing or that you now finally had everything? It's all insane because it never stays the same and it means nothing. If you went into let's say someone who works in the fields, and you go to their house, and they live in one room. Is your gratitude for the fact that you don't live in one room? Or is it the understanding that it means nothing? Your connection with that beloved is the connection of the spirit, the heart, has nothing to do with their living conditions. The compassion for their living conditions can be there, not pity, and not, thank God I don't live there, but really the understanding that everyone is in the perfect place, the perfect time to learn what it is that they are there to learn. Perfect. Everything is always in that perfection. So when your mind is running its very familiar game, look at where it came from. Everybody made statements of declarations as in the past years. I will never be satisfied with anything except when I'm liking it myself. I will never be satisfied, and I will never I want everyone to admire me. I want everybody to see that I'm good. I want put it all on the altar. Turn it all over. It's all made up. Everything from the outside that you looked at in the past, meant nothing except the learning of love. Why do beloveds find friends? You may think that this is a different subject. Now I'm going to talk about friends. Why do beloveds find friends? Why are you drawn to friendships? Allies? Almost everybody grew up learning to play a persona, learning to when the beloveds who came as your parents would ask you a question, you would gear your answer to what they wanted to hear most of the time. That was the idea of survival. Will they like my answer? Well, I won't know whether they like my answer, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them the answer I think that they want, and then I'll go sneak into my brother's room and tell him what I really thought. And in that, we make allies. And in those allies, we gripe, we bring our grievances of that we think are real. And when we bring those grievances, we're not realizing that we are separating ourselves, that we are living in that split mind, trying to figure out what to say to who and how to say it, and then complain to somebody else because we had to say it the way it was supposed to be said or whatever. It's all letting go of the false identities and recognizing them because everybody has lived there. That beloved who came as my brother, he wasn't my brother. It was the beloved who came as my brother. I wasn't able in that relationship to realize that we were all playing a game, playing parts. And that my gratitude would be that if I wasn't there. So that gratitude became connected with good and bad. I like this, I don't like this. This is better. I want that. But in the journey of remembering the truth, there is much truth written about the various types of prayer. That when you pray and you are asking for to get the better job or to get a better room, whatever, apartment, better car, it's hollow. It's hollow because it has nothing to do with your peace. It has nothing to do with your divine self. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with having a nice car. It isn't about that, but it's not part of the gratitude. The gratitude is God takes me wherever I need to go. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do or how to get there because God will provide my way. It has nothing to do with having a car that happens to be registered in your own name. It has to do with the realization that you will not be left without. You can't be left without. But and we have all been there, when we focus and compare within the world and our likes and dislikes and what we have and what we don't have, we're not available for the recognition that God is my insurance to be wherever I need to be, because God is my learning. I'm only here to learn. I'm not here to have many rentals and businesses and ownerships of anything. That doesn't mean that sometimes we don't end up owning things, but it's the realization that it has no value. It has no value. At one point, I owned, I think it was 3 rentals, a house, a business. What for? Because I really believed that if I worked hard enough, I would be safe. It was for safety. It was for prestige, which is part of safety. It was for an identity, part of safety. And when they were gone, was I different? No. They had never brought safety. The ownership never brought safety. It can't. It's made up. No one has more value than someone else. You can't be left without. The belief of being unfairly treated is so insidious that it has to be recognized that to be unfairly treated, your mind has to make up the story, and then you have to believe it. You have to see the story as you want it to be so that you can be unfairly treated, because you believe that that's where your work is, to make sure that no one treats you unfairly and that the manifestation of the material world does not treat you unfairly. When you when you pour your heart to God, you don't keep secrets. You don't try to turn it so that it makes sense to you what you're offering to God. When you go into the closet with God, it's a place of honesty. I was jealous today. I really wasn't jealous. But I had plenty of jealousy in my life. Plenty of jealousy. When you surrender those elements of battle, it's humbling. It's meant to be humbling, because that's exactly the the energy field that is needed, the humility, to be able to say, I can't stop thinking about that I'm PO'd because somebody has something that I don't have. Can you bring that to God? Absolutely. Can you honestly bring it? That's that's the learning. There is no one that you had in your past that you didn't judge, that you weren't jealous of, that you weren't resentful of. that you weren't competitive with, that you weren't secretive with. The reason that I'm called to bring this to the light is because it's such a main element of pain and suffering, and not taking that next step, that God is your confidant. You don't go to others in your life and complain about somebody else or complain about a situation. No, you bring it to God. And you bring it to God not with a complaint. You bring it to God with, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. If you went to an ally or a perceived ally about some conflict that you think you have, you're not saying I'm stuck. You're saying they're stuck. They are not doing what they need to be doing. They are telling me that I'm unfairly treated. They're treating me unfairly. And you want to make sure that everybody knows that. But when you bring it to God, and eventually when you bring it to a beloved, you bring it with, I'm stuck in my mind with a belief that I have an enemy, that they're not treating me as I need to be treated. But you've told me that everything is in my own mind, so I want help to change my mind. I want help to transform these old poisonous beliefs. I have nothing to compare. Show me the way. I have nothing to hold a grudge for. I have no grievances. I cannot be unfairly treated. Cannot be unfairly treated. If I am seeing something as lacking, if I think I've been unfairly treated, I have to see it differently. I want to see it differently. Show me. Show me the truth, because I want to see it differently. I want to come out of the closet and see the beloved and see every situation as perfect, absolutely perfect, because it's my learning, or else it wouldn't be there for me. It's perfect. I accept it. I want it. I want to learn from it. I want to use it to its deepest place. And then when I hear the voice of God say, go deeper still, I go deeper still, because it's my way home. It's my way back to love. Everything is perfect. Everything. The voice that sings your name is sweeter than midnight sleep. Everybody can relate to midnight sleep. When you wake up at midnight, it's a perfect example of believing that something is not okay. But that midnight sleep, and when you can hear the sweet song of God, it's perfect. It's perfect to wake up to hear the song of God. When deep in prayer, my faith is bound by the thought of you. If I were offered a kingdom and the world's riches were placed at my feet, I would bow with my head faced low and say, this does not compare to your love. I only want the truth of love. There's nothing else. Everything is a blessing, but it is not the blessing of receiving something so that someone else has less. There's nothing in the more. The more is based on scarcity, and the scarcity always comes back because you believe in scarcity. When you're trying for more, it means that you believe in less. Neither one has any value or any truth. Everything is perfect. Everything is love.